Guys, welcome back to another video, and this is another basketball reaction. And this has been a video that's been, I say, in the making. I've been wanting to do a Jimmy Butler his story, I guess you could say. Like, people have been telling me, and this is all led from like I've been enjoying him a lot in the playoffs, and he's become one of my favorite players for obvious reasons. He's been incredible, and he was incredible in the playoffs. And through me sort of talking about him through previous videos, just like sort of talking about how much I've been enjoying seeing him play, people have been telling me to react to his story again, like what his childhood was like, what he went through. Because from what I've heard and from the title, he had a very, very tough upbringing, and we're here to learn about what exactly happened. I mean, again, from the title you can see From Homeless to All-Star, the NBA's most incredible story. This video is nearly 4 years old, so it's not going to be missing things from his childhood, but it's probably going to miss things from his current day, right? But that's not much of an issue when you realise he's sort of continued his career from where it was at this point. He's just been a top player. But I'm interested to see more about him as a person, to see what he went through, because again, people have been telling me through the comments that he had a really tough upbringing. So we're here to learn about what exactly he went through, and yeah, let's just check this out, man. I don't know if this is the best video to react to, but I didn't really know other ones that I could, so I just decided to do this one. And maybe if there's another one out there, I'll do a reaction to it on my second channel, but let's give this a watch and see what exactly Michael Zemba has for us.
And today we are talking about one of the most inspirational stories in NBA history. That's right, we are talking about the come-up story of Jimmy Butler. Now, I was really excited to look into this story because, yes, I am a huge Chicago Bulls fan, but just in general, man, this story is just insane. Because as you're about to see, at one point in time, Jimmy Butler was homeless, and now he's an NBA All-Star worth over $100 million. So if you need some inspiration in your life, I'm telling you, just sit back, grab some popcorn, and enjoy. Because if this doesn't get you inspired, then I'm not sure what will. And real quick, guys, before we start the video, I just want to say that I am very excited to announce that my new merch is finally here. Now, so you guys can see, we're rocking shirts that say threes are greater than twos. It's simple math. Now, I made these shirts because a lot of you guys have been asking for merch from me, which I always thought was a little weird. I mean, I see some YouTubers just put their face on a shirt.
Now, this is irrelevant, but people have been asking for me, and I don't really know what I would do. Again, I know merch isn't for everyone, and I understand that. I've never actually bought merch from a YouTuber, I'll be 100% honest, but a lot of people have been asking me to, if I do, what would people want? Again, I'm not too sure, and I know it's not for everyone. Trust me, I understand that from the viewpoint, as again, I've never actually bought merch myself, but if you are listening to this, what would you like to see if I did do merch? Because again, I just don't really know what I could do.
And I don't know.
It's mind blowing to me.
But so instead, I just created a shirt that I just thought was cool and
I love that though, bro. Get your
to help your boy out. It would be awesome if you cop one. But yeah, other than that, guys,
4 years ago as well.
Jesus. Like the look of you, you gotta go. With those words, 13-year-old Jimmy Butler was kicked out of his
Let me turn it up a little bit.
House by his own mother. His father had already 13-year-old Jimmy. Enjoy the video. I don't like the look of you. You gotta go. With those words, 13-year-old Jimmy Butler was kicked out of his house by his own mother. His father had already left him when he was just a baby, and now he had no home at all. He would go on to spend the next few years jumping from house to house for days or weeks at a time, living the life of a homeless man when he should have been enjoying his teenage years. Already going through struggles in life that most people never had to face. His future could only be unclear at best. Without any support system, what would his life become? How would he go to college? How would he possibly have a successful future? And so he turned to the only thing he could, the one thing in his life that had never turned its back on him, the game of basketball. But as a junior, Butler only averaged a mere 10 points per game and was recruited by no one. Still though, basketball would give Jimmy the first gift of his young life, because at the end of a summer league game headed into his senior season, Jimmy Butler had his first fan. A soon-to-be 9th grader was enamored with Jimmy's game, and the young kid approached Jimmy and challenged him to a three-point contest. JB agreed, and soon the two became close friends. From there, Jimmy began visiting the kid's house, staying over to play video games and eat dinner at a time where he had no true home. Which led to Michelle Lambert, the young kid's mother, soon taking a serious interest in Jimmy's situation. She was a single mother, and money was tight, but in a story very much resembling The Blind Side, Michelle decided that a enough was enough, Jimmy needed a home. And so he was taken in by the Lambert household. And now, living in a new home, much like The Blind Side, Jimmy's life turned around. The rules of the house were that Jimmy was to work hard, to set an example for the younger kids, and to excel in school, which is exactly what he did. And with this change in lifestyle, his play on the court dramatically improved. In his senior season, Jimmy was named the captain of the Tom Bell High School basketball team and went on to average 19.9 points, doubling now, Jesus. Rebounds a game. Now, if this was a movie, we would soon find Jimmy as one of the most sought-after recruits in the country. But this wasn't The Blind Side. This wasn't a Disney movie. Jimmy Butler's life was destined to be full of hardships, and as a senior, he wasn't even a ranked recruit on ESPN. Jimmy did not receive a single scholarship offer to a Division I school, and so he was forced to go to junior college. And so Jimmy packed his bags and began his freshman season playing.
Really isn't given the easiest ride, is he?
Apaches. He played in empty gyms, but he was working to get noticed by someone, anyone who would give him a chance. And since this is the story of a future NBA star, you might expect that this was finally where Jimmy began to flash the potential of the future NBA All-Star he was to become. But this was not the case, because life was not meant to be easy for Jimmy Butler. Sure, he had some big games, including a 34-point performance in his first conference game, but still, college coaches weren't calling until, for the second time in his life, the basketball gods came through. Because while scouting another player, Marquette coach Buzz Williams spotted a player who seemed to be working harder than every other man on the court. But at that point, that's really all he saw, because as Jimmy puts it,
the very first thing he said to me was, "Jimmy, you suck."
Which must have been somewhat of an exaggeration, because eventually, despite the fact that he was still an unranked recruit, Jimmy did receive a scholarship offer to Marquette. The first indication in his life that at the end of the day, hard work really does pay off. And while a scholarship offer to a major school would be enough for some people, it was not.
That's what his game's based off nowadays, isn't it? Hard work. You see him. It was one of the games against the Lakers, and it was near the end as well, and he was done. Like, you could just see he was shattered. But he persevered, and he just works, and that is, I'm guessing that's a part of his game because of previous experiences in his life and things that he's went through that have just led to him being this kind of player. And God damn, it's worked out, because he is unreal, man.
Enough for Jimmy Butler. He arrived at Marquette ready to take his game to the next level, but again, life threw him another obstacle, another challenge that had to be overcome. And that challenge came in the form of Buzz Williams. As Williams puts it,
"I was incredibly hard on him, sometimes bordering too much, but he endured it. But more importantly, he's flourished from it."
But success would not come early. As a sophomore, Butler was not a college basketball star. In fact, he was not even a starter. He averaged only 5.6 points a game and played less than 20 minutes a night. And while he struggled to find success in games, the practices were often much, much worse. Buzz Williams has a reputation of an absolute hard ass, and Jimmy soon learned that this reputation was very well deserved. As Buzz puts it, practice is like a boot camp. It's not supposed to be easy. And so Jimmy found himself in practice routines that included 2 days of non-stop running in a secluded campground in the Wisconsin wilderness. The players weren't allowed to use their cell phones. They weren't allowed to even watch TV. All they were allowed were conditioning drills and grueling practices. And at times, Jimmy found himself close to quitting. He said he wanted to give up this madness, wanted to go home. But what home could he really go to?
Yeah.
Sure, the Lambert family would take him in, but then what? Where would he go from there? And so he put his head down and grinded. He
had no other choice, did he?
Of hard work, and it made him a better man. Jimmy would eventually see Buzz Williams as a father figure, another role model to pair with the mom he already had in Michelle Lambert. And again, life showed him that through hard work, anything is possible. JB went on to finish his Marquette career with a college degree and was a starter as a junior and senior. Both seasons he was named as a Big East honorable mention, but in an age where it's common to have several 19-year-old freshmen named as national All-Americans, it didn't exactly seem likely that this man who was deemed only an honorable mention by his own conference as a 22-year-old would ever have a significant NBA career. But this is the story of Jimmy Butler. And no matter what punches life threw at him, he always found a way to hit back. After his senior season, Jimmy attended the Portsmouth Invitational and was named the MVP of the entire event, which meant people began to ask him, "Who's your agent?" To which he replied, "I don't have one." He would get one though, and in the 2011 NBA draft, the kid who was once homeless, the kid who was not recruited by a single team out of high school, became the man who was taken by the Chicago Bulls with the 30th pick of the draft, which to Jimmy was everything. As he remembers,
That's incredible.
Instantly burst out into tears with my mom because I just felt like all the hard work that I've done, all the people that tell me that I wouldn't amount to anything, that I couldn't be an NBA player, I could care less about proving them wrong. I proved myself right.
but again, as this was Jimmy Butler's life, his rookie year would soon find him with a new reality that he was not prepared for.
Jesus.
He just wasn't good enough to play in the NBA.
This is just an against odds story. Constantly, he's constantly against the odds. The odds are stacked against him, and he just keeps persevering through. And obviously, we're hearing that he wasn't good enough when he first initially joined the league. We obviously know now he worked himself to the point where he was, but against odds story. But he's had some crazy things to overcome, and again, just the hard working. You can see why he's got that in his nature, like in his game, because he's had to work so damn hard to get where he is now. And we're going to see more of what he had to do.
Yeah, at least not yet. Because as a rookie for a veteran Chicago Bulls team, Jimmy's game could nicely be described as unpolished, especially on the offensive end. At practice, teammate Rip Hamilton would compare his shot to that of a dart, as Butler's jumper had next to no arc and would almost always clang off the rim. And so, JB would only go on to play in 42 of the Bulls games his rookie year and only averaged 8.5 minutes in those games. But at the time, Jimmy wasn't worried. In fact, his latest challenge was easy. It almost seemed like a joke. And that's not to say that carving out a role in the NBA wouldn't be hard. In fact, it would be extremely difficult to go from a garbage time player to that of an NBA star. But at this point, life had hardened Jimmy Butler, and finally, this became his ultimate advantage. And so, with the memories of his past in his mind, the memories of his mother abandoning him at the age of 13, Jimmy Butler did what he had always done in life. He worked hard. As a college player, he had mostly played forward, but now he transformed himself into a guard. Countless hours were spent in the gym, hours spent working on his ball handling, working on his shooting, working on the sport that in all his life had never turned its back on Jimmy Butler. Those around the Bulls were in awe of the time he spent willing himself to get better. And what drove Jimmy at that time was one simple belief.
Your chance is gonna come.
And eventually, he got his chance. His second season in the league, he started 20 games and surprised everyone by averaging 13.3 points and 5.2 rebounds in the 2013 playoffs. From there, he became a full starter in 2014, but it was the 2015 season where he truly began to shine. Even though as a college player, the most he averaged a game was 15.7 points, Jimmy Butler averaged 20 points per game in his fourth season in the NBA. Even though as a senior, he was only named as a Big East honorable mention, Jimmy Butler was named as a 2015 NBA All-Star. And even though he was once homeless, even though he was unrecruited, even though he was only the 30th pick in the 2011 NBA draft, Jimmy Butler became the first Chicago Bull ever to be named the NBA's most improved player. And after the 2015 NBA season, Jimmy only built on his newfound success. That summer, he signed a max contract worth $95 million and has proven to be worth every penny. As this season, he is currently averaging 26 points, 4.1 assists, and 6.7 rebounds a night. Which brings us to the final part of this long, incredible story. Because let's take a trip back to the beginning. Back to when a high school freshman approached Jimmy Butler and changed his life forever. Now, at the time, the kid was just another young athlete with big dreams. And in an absolutely amazing twist of fate, the name of this kid was Jordan Leslie. The same Jordan Leslie who, like Jimmy, defied the odds and made it out of Tomball and became a college football player for BYU. Christ. The same Jordan Leslie who is now on the Cleveland Browns practice squad, hoping to get a chance. And so at this point, despite what I previously said... I'm
gonna let it run quickly, but what I was wanting to say something. What was it? It was just after... Oh, I had something that I wanted to say. Oh, I forgot. I've completely forgot.
I have to think that maybe, just maybe, Jimmy Butler's life was indeed a Disney movie. In fact, maybe it's even more impressive than The Blind Side. And because of this, I would not be surprised if Jordan Leslie did get his chance. And I'd be in shock if he didn't make the most of it. And thank you guys for watching. I just want to say one more time, I am just in awe of the journey that Jimmy Butler had. From homeless to an NBA star is just something that you just don't hear about ever. And I feel like this story has gone a little underreported because it's seriously a huge deal. So I just have to say, I have so much respect for Jimmy Butler. He's the man. He's just the man. And so I hope you guys enjoyed the video.
What led to, because obviously from this was made in 2016, the 2016-2017 season, I'm guessing like in the middle of the season. What led to Jimmy Butler then leaving? Because I remember a video I saw, I think 2 months back. I saw that he was at like 3 different teams within the space of like 2 to 3 years. What led to him to leave the Bulls? Did he outgrow them? Was there other reasons? Was he not performing for them at one point? Because obviously he's performing very well now, but he had a little stage where he was at a few different teams, and I'm just intrigued to see what the case for that was, the reasoning behind that. But in terms of the story, I mean, firstly, to abandon your son at 13, I mean, I hope his mum's watching and she's just, oh mate, I can't imagine how she's feeling, but it satisfies me knowing that she regrets it. And oh mate, that's incredible to me, that sort of feeling, just of how she's feeling about it. Like, is there any stories of them seeing each other since, or has he just sort of cut contact? Which I hope he has, because to abandon your son at 13 years of age is something I don't think any human could live with. Like, I don't know how you could do that, but respect to him, props to Butler, man. He's been one of those players that especially recently he's been growing on me a lot, and I really am sort of falling in love with him as a player and his story now around him, and like what led to him becoming the player he is. It's just incredible to see, man, and it shows the hunger and desire he must have had, and he definitely did have, that led him to where he is like currently, man. Like one of the best players to watch at the moment, man. He just seems to be so well rounded, and again so hard working. You can't not enjoy seeing him play. I'm not a Bulls fan, but man, I love Jimmy. Rewatching this in 2020 after he just dropped 40 points in the box in the second round. Movie about Jimmy Buckets confirmed, like if you agree. I think they should make a movie about his life, like if you agree. That would be an insane thing to watch. Maybe like a Netflix movie, or just a movie in general. I'd love to see that. I was drafted by the Bulls in 2K, and that dude Jimmy keep coming to my court. Who else is here after Jimmy dropped to 40 triple-double in the finals? I know Bertham is kicking the hell out of herself now. I hope so, man. That is just, the thought of that satisfies me so much. And also to like how he like hit the mum of I forget exactly, but the mum of his friend that he sort of played basketball with. That's a really cool story as well. And I like how he calls her mum as well. I don't know how old he was when he moved in with her. I think like 16, 17. But I just really, that's sort of like one of the parts of the stories that I really liked, and it just made me happy, that part in particular. But incredible story, and I just hope by the end of his career he can get a ring, because I think that would just sort of sign it off perfectly, man. And that would sign it off perfectly in terms of a movie as well. Like a movie anywhere would be like incredible, but just to sort of have a movie where he eventually gets the ring would just be incredible, man. But hey, he's still got years in his career, you never know, man. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this reaction. More on the way. Again, I don't know if this was the best video to do because it was a few years old, but nevertheless, I really enjoyed it. And yeah, more suggestions like this I would love to react to. But yeah, until next time, like, subscribe, and peace.